Hey, Ryan. How do you push forward when your business is harder than you want it to be? Yeah. This is reality, right? I mean, I've been self-employed for 25 years. I've definitely lived through days, months, years that were harder than others. And looking back, hindsight's always 2020, and the harder times made me better. So that when life eased up, I was that much stronger. So there's always that to look forward to. But I know when you're in the middle of it, that answer is frustrating and not why you're asking the question and not what you want to hear from me. I think that it has to come back to, how do I feel in control of my business? So when you say your business is hard, what does that mean? Does it mean that customers aren't walking through the door? Does it mean that it's hard to find a good employee? Does it mean that there's a lot of competition around you? What I'm getting at is, what is your definition of hard? Is it perceived or is it real? So one of the things I might have you do is, if you're not in contact with your franchisor, to go back to your franchisor and ask for how you are doing relative to other franchisees that started at the same time as you. So sometimes we feel like we're off track, but it's because we are like driven A+ personalities who set really high goals for ourselves, and we're not on track with our A++ goals. But in reality, our business is like right on track for where other people who started at the same time we started at we're all equal. That can take some of the pressure off of you when you're like, okay, it's my perception of where I am because I'm not where I want to be, but in reality, my business is actually doing okay. So that would be the first piece of advice I would give you is, let's get clear on how hard is it in terms of numbers. Are you on track? Is your activity where it needs to be? And the greatest thing about a franchise is, like, there's all these other franchise owners out there, right, who are running the same business. So they're going through the same pandemic. They're going through the same election. They're going through the same economic time, whatever the crisis of the day is, right? Because there's always something going on that we can blame our hardship in business on. And believe me, as one who's been self-employed for 25 years, I definitely have tried. I've tried to blame it on things outside of myself. But the thing is if you blame it on something outside of yourself, then you can't control it. And so you can't correct it. But if you then say, like, what could I do today to turn this around? And every day build on that one thing, you'll find that your attitude may quickly shift. And when your attitude shifts, such that you're feeling a little more in control about what you're doing, what you once deemed as hard may not seem so hard anymore. Ultimately, what I'm saying is, instead of looking at everything outside of yourself that you can't control, that's probably why you're perceiving your business as harder than you want it to be. If you come back to your why, and you come back to your daily plan, that's what it always comes back to, guys. I know you hear me say it over and over and over again, but that's because I have been doing this for a really long time. My business gets off track, but not very often, and not for very long, because I don't let it. Because the minute I start to perceive that my business is off track, I go back to my daily plan. I see, where am I in relation to where I want to be? And I correct it. I don't worry about the 2 weeks I slacked off or the month I slacked off. That wouldn't happen. And it shouldn't happen to you. Don't let it go on that long. The couple of days I slacked off, I just get right back on track. It's like if you fall off your diet, right? The whole world isn't going to end. Just get back on, right? You don't have to be perfect. When you step back at the end of your year, you'll probably see that even if you worked diligently and you were on track every day, you were probably only still 80% effective. But 80% effective will be enough to make you a history maker. I promise you that. So instead of saying my business is hard, saying, what can I do to make this more fun today? What can I do to make this easier today? And usually that shifts you back to focusing on what you can't control to focusing on what you can control. If nobody's walking in the door, if that's what's hard, you own a business and no one's coming through the door, what can I do today that may help influence somebody to walk through that door tomorrow? You may not get the instant gratification right now today from the effort you're putting out, but you can't sit back paralyzed and say, there's nothing I can do. There's something you can do. You could pick up the phone and call somebody that used to be a member or a client and say, hey, how are you? You could ask them for a referral. You could say, let's say that you own a gym and no one's coming in. You could pick up the phone and call somebody that was a member in your gym and say, hey, this is Ryan. You used to be a member here. Why did you leave? Is there anything I could do that would make you want to come back? Can I give you a free pass? Do you know anybody that's looking to get in shape that you could give a free pass to? You could come up with ideas for how to be engaged in your local community by giving out those free passes. You could walk into businesses around your club and say, hey, anybody want a free trial membership to my club? Come and work out for free for the week on me. And know that a certain percentage of those people will actually take you up on that. And a certain percentage of those people will then go on to become a paying member. And if every single day you take action like that, you don't have to do millions of drop-ins in one day. Just go into one business. And then the next day, go into another business. Just have one idea and take action. And by taking action on one idea, you're going to move from a state of feeling paralyzed and out of control to a state of feeling energized and excited and in control. And the more consistent you are with taking those actions, the more confident you are going to become. Because I promise you this, over time, those efforts will produce a reward. You cannot sow seeds and not reap what you sow over time. The reason most people don't reap the reward is because they quit too soon, because they're looking for instant gratification that doesn't always come. But if you put your head down and you say to yourself, I have something of value in my community to offer, and you do what you can do today, and you come to work tomorrow, and you do what you can do tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, that momentum will start to build. And one day, you're going to look back and you're going to say, this is the greatest business ever. You're going to feel on top of the world. You are going to know with clarity what drove your success. And that's the day that you wake up and you fully own your business and your future.